Hiya. Who have we got on? Can you give me a thumbs up if it's working, please? Sorry, I've got a cold. Hiya. Who have we got on? Can you give me a thumbs up if it's working, please? Sorry, I've got a cold. Let's hope it's somebody nice. Thank you. It's kind of you to let me know. So who have we got? Stop getting cake out of my teeth as usual. Here we come, chat. Or are we going to be an observer to a very quiet live stream? Sorry, I've got a terrible cold caused by too much stress. Where is everybody this morning? Mind you, it's Sunday morning, isn't it? Just watched a really silly video. Apparently we're not supposed to talk to our dogs. I've heard that so much. Big difference between training vocal intonation and just blabbing at your dog. Not much of a life for a dog, is it, if you just barking commands at it every 5 minutes? Nope. Hi, second person. Is someone going to actually talk? Please. Back to one person now. Well, it looks like it's just me on my own. At least it saves me from the phone. Yeah, don't leave me hit. Hi, Lorna. How are you doing? Lovely to see you, my darling. Hi, Husky Games. How are you? I was just going to start singing, so you've just saved yourself a lot of earache. Hello, Helena. Yeah. Yeah, well, nobody wants to hear me sing. If no one comes on, I just start singing, and it's not a good noise because I can't sing. I was just saying, I've just been watching a video, ladies, right? By a well-known dog trainer saying that we mustn't speak to our dogs, except for training. And I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. Apparently, it ruins the relationship. It frustrates the dog. Good. Thank you, Lorna. Yeah, I just can't believe it. It's not much of a life for a dog if the only time you speak to it is when you are training it and commanding it. My glasses are crooked again. There we go. That's better. So I didn't agree with that. No, Zed doesn't like my singing. Trust me. She looks at me with a very pained expression. Yeah, well, I do too. I don't see what the problem is. You use a very different tone and energy when training. And it's like Zed and I sit here having, really good conversations. And I think dogs understand way, way more than a lot of people think. But you see, this is the thing with dog trainers, isn't it? They never agree with each other. So she knows when she's working and when mummy's just blabbing on about nothing. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, you got to talk to them. Can't just sit there and ignore them for like the whole day and then want to do some training. I am seeing you. I can see you. I can see you all. Yes. It's all coming through, Lorna. Absolutely. How are you feeling, Lorna, love? I did look into that about the dog food, okay, on Google. There's no recall going on. So not sure. Mind you, reading Catherine O'Driscoll's books, there's a huge government cover up on food, and I mean, basically, the pet food manufacturers and vaccine companies have more power than the governments do. Oh, definitely, Helena. Absolutely. What sort of dog have you got, Helena? I can't see the little tiny picture. I can't see anyway. Let's just be honest. Said actually starts sort of vocalizing if I start singing. It's like she's saying, "Oh, Mum, please shut up. That's hurting my ears." Yeah, it's lovely to have you here, everybody. It really is. Thank you very much for joining me. I think we've got into a safe zone now. Catherine O'Driscoll is, hang on. Hold on. She is the founding member of Canine Health Concern and the sister shoot of the Pet Welfare Alliance. And this is her latest book, The Tip of the Needle. And it's an absolute expose of dog food, the unnecessary vaccination of dogs or over vaccination of dogs. I lost a dog to a booster vaccination, and that's how I came in touch with Catherine. Amazing woman. She's had people murdered around her for trying, like organophosphates, okay, is what causes mad cow disease. Yet the government I don't know how much you're feeding them. So, I mean, Zed is only 18 kilos. Over here, we do it in kilos. I couldn't even work that out in pounds. But, you know, because I feed raw, despite all the choking hazards, that's her fault, though, for being greedy. You know, you get really lean dogs when you feed raw. Unfortunately, in commercial food, other than the fact that you get rendered meat, which if you were ever to know what rendered meat is, basically meat that is off, that they make edible by using chemicals, and then they shove it in commercial dog food, which is why I feed raw. I will never, ever use any form of kibble or processed dog food, not ever. You know, some books just need reading to open your eyes, and, you know, I don't like to preach. I really don't. Doesn't matter how great a brand you use. And fish, please don't feed salmon ever because of salmon poisoning disease, okay? Never feed salmon. Never, ever, ever. Can actually kill your dog. So I don't feed beef. Staffy Terrier, yeah. A lot of those around here, usually in shelters now because they're not so popular as they were. Because we had a lot of young guys trying to turn them into really vicious dogs, and it wasn't working. So they just ended up in the shelters. Yeah, sardines are fine. Good oily fish, Husky Games. Good oily fish. Yeah, absolutely fine. I use sprats and sardines with her, obviously raw, mixed in usually with some ground up chicken. Because I only use, as I called them in my video, lammy ribs. God, did I feel silly saying that? But, you know, she gets them once a week to clean her teeth. But, you know, before I used to hold onto them. And, you know, about 6 months ago, I thought, right, she's got the idea here. And then she goes and chokes. Yeah. You'd be better with chicken quarter dog that size because you risk choking hazard with just like legs. You know, you want the whole chicken quarter, the thigh, the drummy, and a bit of the spine, because otherwise, you know, with just like a drumstick, that can get stuck if they try and eat it in one go. Just a little word of warning. I don't want anybody to have to go through what I went through the other day. I'm just so glad I knew what I was doing. Otherwise, Zed would be dead now, and it would have been awful. It was pretty scary. But I just go very calm in those situations. I guess I'm lucky. But, it was so bad I had to invert her. Usually you can clear it, with keeping their forepaws on the ground. But it was so bad. And dear Zed in that video was so tolerant, But I just think it's so, yeah, good, really good. I know people that will just put their dog in a room with toys and then wonder why their dog is pooing out black plastic or blue plastic. And I'm just like, you're lucky your dog's not dead, See, I don't leave toys on the floor or anything. I've even got a Kong up on the table. You're doing really well though, Husky Games. Honestly, don't. You're dealing. I mean, I would love to take Chewy off you, but I live in the UK, so it's an impossibility because I think Chewy's adorable. Just think he needs a little structure. Very independent breed dog. I mean, Zed's bad enough. She's fiercely independent. Yeah, you're doing very well with them, though, honestly. I was thinking now that it's raining and it's cold and it's horrible that I ought to get a swimming pool, one of those blue swimming pools for dogs for next year. Oh, you can't beat a good doggy hug. I mean, Zed actually sleeps with her head on my pillow, so we're breathing on each other. But she seems happy with that. I think she feels she can sleep as long as she knows that I'm breathing. Bless her. So I've told Zed she saved my life once. I've saved her. Can we now pack that in? I do. Yeah, good darling. You frightened your mummy. And we're not supposed to talk to him like that, apparently. I've heard all this before. Don't talk to your dogs. The only time you talk to them is when you're training them. That's not much of a life for a dog. And I think it's really underestimating the intelligence of the dog. And I think people, especially trainers, can get stuck in, the way they train. Yeah, I mean, Zed sleeps on that sheet. She's free to go wherever she likes. I mean, after she's eaten, she has, because I've got a tiled floor. She's lays on there for a while and then she comes up on the bed and tries to take up the whole bed, as dogs tend to. But then she turns around and it's like she puts her nose just so that it's pointing to my pillow. Don't you? She goes, yes, that's right, Mummy. I've got to make sure you're all right. They're great company, aren't they? They really are. They really are. Well, you are, darling. Everything's fine. There's no nasty problems going on. Don't you worry, little girl. Best company, I agree. I just don't function very well without a dog. I'm so used to having more than one dog, though. But Zed has been... No, I agree, Helena. I absolutely agree with you. This is the thing. Some dog trainers just bark comments at their dogs all day and then crate them for the rest of the day. I don't use crates. If you do, that's fine. I don't. I mean, as I've got a very small kitchen and as Zed was a puppy, I just put a baby gate across it. And, it's like a galley kitchen, very small. But she saw that as her den. She had a nice big bed in there, didn't you? Which she no longer uses. She doesn't use that bed anymore. Zed would be offended if I stopped talking to her. She'd just keep coming up to me and poking me with her nose as though to say, what have I done wrong? If I start, I ignore her if she's been naughty. Hello, Juliet. I'm not up for it, Helena. I have to agree. I mean, I have nothing against people that do it, if it's done correctly and not in a negative way. But I like Zed only had free range of the house from March this year, but she was a little hellion, to put it politely. In all my years, and I've had many, many collies, German Shepherds, you name it, I've had it. She's like more than the pack of 3 dogs I had before her. Well, I'm sorry, Zed, it's true. But she's a very high drivey dog. And funnily enough, since the choking incident, where I saved her life, she's been like ever so happy and joyous and like all over me. It's weird, actually. But you're happy, aren't you? She goes, yes, Mummy, I'm happy. She's happy as long as her mum ain't getting a load of hassle on living live streams. That's all seems to be over now, which is really good. Though, yeah, absolutely. You've made it very positive for them, Husky Games, and that's how it should be. Unfortunately, some people use crates just to get dogs out of the way. I mean, I know a trainer over here who's Malinois, who she says is insane, which I don't like that, has broken the big carnasial teeth, you know, the huge mountainous ones at the back. And everybody here has dogs, Helena. When you have a pack of dogs, and I got a puppy every year for 3 years, but you've got to get the right dog to start with. Zed would not be a good example to another puppy, for example, but you learn so much from watching the interaction between the actual dogs. And when you hear people say there's no such thing as an alpha dog, and it's rubbish, you know. I mean, Zelly, my collie Cross, she was, they're Huskies, Helena. She's got the mum, dad, and 2 pups. But you learn an awful lot from watching a pack of dogs. I used to look out the window and I'd catch my 3, 2 border collies and a border collie cross. And they, you know, they would decide amongst the 3 of them who was going to come and check on me. And so I'd have Zelly come in and she'd go out. And then it would be Inky come in and she'd go out. And then it'd be YY come in. It was strange because I swear to God, they had little mothers' meetings. Bit of a handful, I think, at the moment, Helena, to be honest. You know, 2 puppies, especially from the same litter. Any trainer will tell you don't ever buy 2 puppies from the same litter. Never. So just to have 2 left for Husky Games, I feel sorry for you, actually. So Juliet Hope, do you have a dog? Just try and get everybody in on the conversation. There's a lot of Huskies on YouTube. A lot of Huskies. Yeah, you know, walking Huskies is difficult, and I just am not quite sure why people seem to think harnesses are a good idea. They are great if your dog is already trained to heel. I mean, I have said to you, Husky Games, I cannot put even a service support and medical assistance dog jacket on Zed. She nearly destroyed the pet shop in there when I tried to put anything on her. She just alligator rolls. She will not have it. She's very fiercely independent and has her very much aligned, which is why the first year was so difficult, because we're so similar and we just butted heads, really butted heads badly for the first year because she wanted to be in charge and I wasn't having it. So I got bitten a lot. She doesn't do it anymore, except on command, obviously. You know, it's like I've thought about breeding Zed, obviously, with her bloodline. She's got an amazing bloodline. But, you know, my concern is if anything happened to Zed during the whelping, I couldn't possibly bear losing Zed. So, and then there would be the puppy placement, because yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, Husky Games, as soon as I pick up a puppy, I slap an ordinary collar around their neck on the way home. As soon as I pick the puppy up and get in the car, I slap a collar on with 2 bells on it straight away. I start training the moment I get my hands on a puppy. But that, you know, I've been training dogs since I was 6 years old and won my first handler award at 8. So I've been doing this a very long time. But, you know, it doesn't mean to say I know it all. You know, I stay open-minded to new ideas and, you know, Yeah, people underestimate what they do need, and it's what I call the walk, water, and feed brigade. People seem to think that dogs just need taking for a walk, feeding, and watering. Nothing could be further from the truth. They need mental stimulation, physical exercise, and psychological understanding. Yeah, I only have female dogs. I mean, I've had male dogs, but I always have female dogs now. I had all my pack were females. Another no. You're not supposed to have a pack of all same-sex dogs. Never had a problem. But then I've got very strong energy, so they obey. So, like, as I say, it's not a democracy; it's a dictatorship. They do have to do what they're told. Simple as. I won't have a badly behaved dog. It just won't happen with me. I can have a difficult dog, but I won't have a disobedient one. I mean, Juliet, the thing is, you've got to understand. I don't think it actually does. I think it depends, Husky, on how strong your energy is. I have got a very strong character. So, even though I've had strong-willed dogs, I dominate. I have to. It's like if Zed comes up to me, she'll put her head underneath and show me her throat. And that is saying to me, I submit to you. I mean, she could bite me to death and beat me up in 5 minutes, but my energy is strong enough that she thinks that's a bad idea. Plus, she loves me. I've even heard another training saying your dog doesn't love you. Your dog's not capable of love. And I'm just like, yeah, all right. People come out with such nonsense. Yeah, absolutely. It does. I mean, the last client I had, she had 2 German Shepherds, right? But she was like a wet lettuce leaf. You know what I mean? It's like she stood there with slumped shoulders, pleading with her dogs to come with her. I took one of her dogs off her, a 9-month-old German Shepherd, and then with 20 minutes, I had it doing sit, stand, recall, the lot, just with marker training. And she was like, how do you do that? I said, it's energy. Staffies are, I was talking to woman from the Dogs Trust over here, and she's walking a very dog reactive dog. It's very aggressive to the dogs. And I was saying to her, I had to do the Heimlich. This is someone from a charity, dogs charity. She said, oh, I know where you live. So if ever I have the problem, I'll come and get you. And I just turned around to her. I said, you wouldn't have time. You wouldn't have time. She said, I'd panic. I said, there's no room for panic. Just got to get on with it. Staffies are so misunderstood. All dogs are misunderstood. I think the intense level of dogs is way more than us very arrogant humans. Not me personally, but a lot of other trainers seem to think, I mean, it's like when I collapsed the other day, Zed knew I was going to collapse long before I even had any feelings of collapsing. And I was thinking, why is she trying to push me back? She was pushing me back towards the sofa, and she was trying to say, sit down, Mum, sit down. But, then I fell, and she just pushed me back with her paws so that I blacked out on the sofa instead of the floor. Absolutely. Good. Yes, you do. You have to act correctly. I mean, there's certain words that have a really profound effect on Zed that I don't use very often. But if she really crosses that line, It is. It's not usually the dog. It is usually the owner. It's the problem with being a dog trainer. Nobody really wants to pay you to say, well, there's nothing wrong with your dog. It's you. I mean, this woman that came around with, she had 2 German Shepherds. The bitch was totally shut down. But it got to the point that when she bought the 2 dogs here, the little shut down bitch was actually wagging her tail at me. So she was opening up to me. But as soon as I stopped working the dog and handed it back to the owner, dog shut down again. It was really, really sad. In the end, I had to actually say to her, I can't work with you anymore, because her energy was just so pathetic. And that just creates a dog that feels insecure, feels it's got to take the leadership position, and it puts a lot of stress on the dog. You know, the first thing we have to give our dogs is safety. And, you know, we don't shout, scream and holler at our dogs. They need to know they are safe and secure. I mean, if Zed feels worried, it's like if the door knocks, she doesn't go and bark. She looks at me. It's like, what do you want me to do, Mum? Because she knows I'll deal with it, and I'll ask her if I need her help. She knows that. It's about respect, mutual respect, and it's so important. Yes, fear, aggression. Difficult. Fear, aggression is very, very, very difficult to stop. I had the same thing happen with Sally. She was never the same dog after. Difficult to deal with, my love. I would honestly seek a good balance trainer, because fear, aggression is one of the biggest problems there is to deal with. I mean, you know, I see a woman every day that is trying to use purely positive to deal with exactly a similar thing, and it's not working. Nothing wrong with a bit of growling. Absolutely, Helena. I mean, Zed knows every emotion I have, everything. I mean, she knows I'm relaxed now because she's going to sleep. And it's like when I was having problems on my live stream, she was very agitated indeed. So, you know, it's lovely to have you all here, and we're talking about nice things. Yeah, Husky Games. I mean, if I was around, I'd come and help you, but obviously I'm not. I would stay out of dog parks, because I've been watching your videos, and what I've seen is that everybody's standing around talking and no one's playing with their dogs. And that means the dogs go looking for attention from other dogs. That's not what you want. I mean, Zed can be on the field and there can be loads of dogs, and the only thing that she's interested is me. Yeah, you need professional help. All respect to Petco, they're a bit purely positive. And I don't know where you are, but you know, I know of a few good trainers in America that, you know, you want a balanced trainer, because that's going to take some sorting out, because it's deeply psychological. It really is. You know, as I said, it happened to my Zelly, my border collie cross, and she ended up with stitches right across her throat, where this Rottweiler cross tried to literally kill her. Literally tried to kill her. And she was never the same after that. After that, you know, she'd always been off lead. Before that, I had to keep her on a long line after that, because she would, you know, she was wanting to preempt possibly getting hurt again. Very difficult, that is. I think one of the hardest things to correct is fear, aggression. That's what Malachi is, afraid he's going to get hurt again. You've got some lovely focus going on with Malachi, by the way, Husky Games. I noticed that in your video. He's looking at you. That's great. You want to really encourage that. Every time he looks at you, say, yes, good, yes, you know. If I was you, I'd stay. I mean, I don't know one dog trainer in the States that would actually take their dog to a dog park. None of them will. So, I mean, we don't have dog parks over here, you know, because we don't have, you know, I can go to any field and let her off the lead and do whatever I like. But she is under control. So, yeah, it really shows. And it's so nice to see. It absolutely is. Doesn't matter. I mean, I use the word focus, but because I use that word that you've written for her to look at someone that is approaching, so that she's in guard mode. So I'm not going to use the word, because she'll start barking. Yeah, but you're doing brilliantly. I was really impressed with that. I thought, oh, look, she's been practicing, and I love seeing that. I really do. I mean, Zed had terrible problems with even getting up and down the road without lunging at cars, but by teaching her to look at me, you know, it's all right, safe. It's safe. Just silly noise. It's just the guy next door going to work. Safe, Zed. Safe, Zed. Okay, we've got a little bit of trouble going on outside. Hold on. Just a minute, please. Zed. Good girl, come. Sorry, people, just checking on what's going on outside. I think there's just some drunk people out there. Good girl. Good God. Well done. Oh, you want a reward, don't you? She goes, yeah, of course I do, Mummy. Good God, yes. Yeah, it's up here. There you go. Good girl. Sorry about that, people. It sounds like drunken people. Yeah, socialization doesn't actually... Oh, that's a story and a half. Socialization doesn't actually mean socializing with dogs. This is so misunderstood. It means taking your... Good, Zed. Good girl. Safe, though, Zed. Safe. Just drunken people, Zed, please. Not worth your bother, love. Come on up here. Come on. Zed up. No, Zed up. Come on. That's a good girl. Hi, Ivy and Jamison. Right. I got into training dogs because being at home wasn't safe for me when I was 6 years old, and I had my first dog then. And I met a lady who knew that me being at home wasn't a good idea. So she took me dog training, and that's how it started. Started when I was 6 years old. I had a terribly naughty dog. But the dog never won anything. I did, though, because she was so difficult. It's a real ruckus going on outside. You've got to build the relationship, Julia. It's so important. I mean, Zed and I have a beautiful relationship, even though we rowed solidly for a year. Once she gave it up, we get on well now, don't we? Just relax, Zed. Those people aren't coming in the house. It's a good girl, though, yeah, good guard. It's a good girl. Well done. My little silent thing. Good girl. Yes, I know. It's very good, Zed. Well done. How are you, Ivy and Jamison? You all right? Ivy and Jamison. I hope you two are being good people, because I know you two, you naughty little children. That'll wind them up. Ivy and Jamison people are very young, naughty people. I would never have been introduced to it to Helena, so she gave me the biggest gift in life I've ever had. The biggest gift ever. It's seen me through so much. Because you can't be stressed or worried or thinking about problems when you're training your dog. I mean, it's like when Zed and I are doing focused heel work, she just locks eyes with me, and it's like an energy exchange. And it's just amazing. It's the most amazing thing in the world. We are video chatting. Dread to think what you two have got on your mind. See, even then, Zed quietly let me know there was a problem outside, but she didn't go mad barking. It was like, Mummy, are you aware? And the first word I said to her was safe. I'm telling her it's safe. It's nothing to worry about. Just waiting for Juliet's neck. You got to be able to correct a dog. That's the thing. All this purely positive is like, ugh. Absolutely. Building a relationship is amazing. But I have to say, because of the level of work my dogs have to do looking after me, I have to get pups. I can't take on a rescue because I can't get the work in. What with the amount of hassle I've just recently been through Husky Games? Wow. No is the answer. I mean, of course, everybody here knows that 50 million Facebook accounts have been hacked. And anybody that signs in to another account with their Facebook is also risking that other account as well. So if anybody's got a Facebook account, I really suggest suspending it for now. Changing your password won't make any difference. I kind of like to build my channel on merit, Husky Games, really. You know, I mean, I had a channel before I had Zed, but I had to take a year out to sort Zed out. She was that difficult. I literally had to stop making videos. And, you know, I was training her about 5 hours a day. And then we're doing behavioral adjustment therapy or behavioral modification training. No, see, Helena, that's the same problem I've had. You know, it's that when you get a rescue dog, you don't know what they've been through. And yeah, I would take anything under 6 months old. But other than that, even then I would struggle because I like my pups really young. So one day I'll be able to get my glasses straight, people. I think I've damaged them because where she fetches them all the time, I think she's bent them a bit. That's okay, though. I've got plenty of glasses. I just don't like any of them. But that's what you get from shopping at Poundland. I mean, I've saved a couple of dogs off the street. This beautiful German Shepherd, you know, it was a male, was being thrown stones at by these kids. And I whistled out of my window and it came straight over. I rushed out to open the door and it came in. But I mean, at the time I was on my knees, poverty stricken, and it had sore eyes, sore ears, sore paws. So I had to ring up the dog warden and get it to come and get it. But he was beautiful. Even though he wasn't mine, I could take him out without a lead. And he listened to everything I said. Oh, that's a shame, Husky Games. But I think for the moment you've got enough doggies, haven't you? I mean, if Zed wasn't so difficult, not difficult, she's just hard work. I think you can teach dog anything if you've got the right approach and a lot of patience. You know, I mean, I've done a lot of trick work on my channel because it builds confidence in the dog, and you also learn a lot about what your dog, how the way your dog thinks. I mean, the most important thing is to teach your dog to love learning. You have to teach your dog to love learning. I mean, this one here loves to learn, and I'm having a problem coming up with new things to teach her because she doesn't like over repetitious work. So it's a case of finding new things to teach her. And it's like she gets so excited when I'm teaching her something new, she actually starts to drool. I mean, I was thinking, you know, those little baby toys that are like a cone and you get different sized rings to put on them. I want to get one of those. Yeah, keep training tricks. All dogs, you know, that you can train an old dog or an older dog, anything you want. Trust me, you just got to be a bit patient with it. All dogs learn at different rates, as do all people. You know, she learns most things in 2 seconds, but well, yes, I kind of think the same. I mean, like, she'll always be, you know, Bub Bub to me. I call her Bub Bub. She's got a lot of names, not all of them polite. Depends on her temperament at the time. I say it as I see it with her. It's like sometimes when she's been a bit naughty, I say, "You're being a real dick today, dear." I mean, I was talking to Catherine O'Driscoll, actually, and she said to me, "Laura, you've got the ability to become a dog communicator or an animal communicator because I can see auras and I can feel energy. But it's not something I know enough about to discuss, people, so I shall have to look into it, you know. Because, you know, I've been brought up by dogs, really. I mean, from the age of 6, I was bringing myself up with my dog. And then it's just been sort of one dog after the other. And, you know, I mean, the book that I'm writing about, The Pack Prior to Zed, you know, they saved my life twice, and they put me back together in a way that, looking back, was just amazing. It was like they were three dogs that just balanced me out and helped me out, got me over cancer, got me out of a very abusive marriage. And it's like the day that my ex-husband moved out, those three dogs were like the happiest dogs on this planet. It was a wonderful thing to see. It just was. And yeah, I miss them all dearly. You know, I mean, two died of, well, I'm not going to say natural causes, probably vaccination related causes. And Inky was murdered. So there you go. Can be difficult, Helena, because I can do it with people as well. So I tend to stay away from people. You know, it is difficult. You know, I can block it to a degree, but I don't like crowds because of it, because I just feel it's a bit like being an empath, I suppose. You know, I can feel everybody's energy, and there's a lot of hostile energy. It's like, well, this is why I get up at night. It's, you know, we go for a walk up the woods at like 3:30, 4 in the morning. And it just feels so different to when people are up and around, and then the energy becomes an angry energy, and it's not a natural energy. I mean, foxes and bats and badgers aren't angry at the world for anything, you know, and it's just completely different. It's completely different. You know, it gives you an insight though into so much. I mean, I can see, because I go walking with somebody I know, and I can say to him, watch that dog, it's bad energy, and it'll be the other side of a field, and he's like, okay. And not, you know, every time the dog's got weird energy, and it like starts growling and playing up, and I just say, see, told you. So now he listens, and he puts his dog on a lead because he's got an entire male, and that can cause problems. Yes, I do. You know, this is why I'm against board and train. And what I would love to do, if I could ever afford it. Vate, hello, my darling. No, not at all, Vate. Everything is lovely and peaceful and quiet and lovely. And how are you, Vate? You're right. Everybody meet Vate. He's one of my lovely moderators, and highly intelligent person. And very, 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 very kind. How are you doing, Vate? You okay? What was I going to say? Okay, Husky Games, you take care. Bye. Yeah, right. Back to the question. Juliet Hope. Yes, I do believe that people should train their own dogs. I'm glad, Vate. What I would like to do is like have like a cottage in the countryside with a couple of spare rooms, and have people do a board and train whereby I teach the dog and the owner together. Yeah. You know, because board and trains don't really work. All right, Lorna, you take care, my lovely. Take care, darling. Lovely to have you in. Faye, have you had any more pranksters or anything like that? Funny that Facebook got hacked, Faye. I hope you're behaving yourself, Faye. Was that anything to do with you? Everything's calm. Just getting, I'm getting the odd text. I've had an aggressive text. I've had a pleading text, and and I've had a text that I woke up to. She's twisted the whole thing round on me and said that I'm cruel and I'm this and I'm that, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I just ignore them. I'm not buying into it. You know, apparently I've got a stalker, Vate. It's my stalker. That's all right, Vate. I was only playing. Somebody's brought it down good and proper, though. You know, 50 million accounts hacked. This is why I don't have anything to do with Facebook. I was about to say something quite nasty then, but I'm not going to give that person any more breath or oxygen. It's not worth it. I just wish I could block my phone or on my phone, but I can't. She's told all her friends not to come onto my channel. Oh yeah, Helena, it's always been hacked because it's not safe. It's, you know, it's why I don't bother. It's a funny old place. Yeah, and another thing, Vate, even if you know how you can sign into, it's like you can sign into YouTube using your Facebook account. You can sign into eBay using your Facebook account. Anything that you sign into using your Facebook account is also at risk. So I think a lot of people have got a lot of problems. I have a separate password for every single page on the computer, on the that I use, and two-factor authentication. So, I don't know. So what have you been up to, Vate, my dear? I think Susie's got a bit of a cold. I know that, so she won't be here this morning. I have heard from her. She's emailed me. It's been really nice talking dogs. Actually, we've had some doggy questions, and it's been nice. I don't feel disturbed, Vate, about the full moon. I just feel glad that all that is over and I can get back to having nice little chats like this without my dog being stressed and me being stressed. And yeah. And the funny thing is, Vate, since I put everything, because I did put everything onto review all comments before I allow them to go under a video. Not one of her friends is prepared to go through that. So she's told her friends to stay away from me. Yeah. You miss Laura. What do you mean, Vate? Sorry, I'm clearly being a bit thick today. I've had one of the Lemsips. I've had a Lemsip thing to stop my cold. Yeah, so all those so-called, just going back to that person, all those so-called friends aren't prepared to go through me reviewing the comments. They just put, and she's told them to stay off my channel. So that kind of implies one thing, doesn't it? And we all know what that is. But I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's not even worth it. It's not worth the oxygen it takes me to say it. I'd read you the text, but I'm not gonna. Absolutely ridiculous. I just ignore it all now. We've just had a bit of craziness outside, Vate. Obviously I think drunk people coming back from clubs and stuff, and Said was like trying it. Well, she was telling me there was a problem outside, bless her, but she's, settled. She's nice and settled, gone back to sleep now. So what have you been up to, Vate? Anything interesting? I bet they sell your information. I mean, that guy, what's his name that set up Facebook? He is like worth so much money, and it started in a college. Oh, that's good. Good. It's nice that that we're all getting a little bit of a peace break. Whew. It's amazing. People amaze me. It's like I've just had someone on a video say to me, they've got some videos they'd like to do, but they don't want to sort of have to put up with trolls and that. And I think that's sad, and I said, there are always going to be trolls on the internet, I don't live near a pub or a club either, but obviously people come back and, in a taxi, and then they stagger down the road. Very undignified, I might add. I would love to live in the I'd love to live in the countryside, Helena. I absolutely would. I really, really would. I'm not happy living where I live. It used to be a nice place to live, but what the council have done is that instead, where everybody's got like a group of garages, they're tearing the garages down and building like flats, and we're just getting loads of youngsters that are very, very rude and impolite. I mean, I had the mini mopeds, Fate, that go down the road, that they use the off-road, really. I had one go screaming past me, neither boy had a helmet on, and I was called very bad word beginning with C. I don't like that. Don't like that. But I get a lot of it anyway. A lot of people don't like me around here. It must be the look of total disapproval that I give most dog walkers that are being yanked up the road by their dog. Or something. I don't know. So, hello, what do you do for work? Yeah, absolutely rude. Yeah, but that's children today, isn't it? They are rude because there's no discipline. Yeah, so I knew you'd understand, babe. Terrible. I get it a lot. I get it a lot. In fact, actually, nobody round here likes me. I'm not bothered. I've got my dog. I'm not bothered. But, I've got walking with in the morning. So he understands me because he's taken the time to get to know me. Oh, wow. You see, there's another thing that I'm interested in is photography. I've really got to get a camera for videoing outside. Hi, Lucas. How are you? You okay? The dog's behaving themselves. Your two boys. Lucas is from Ireland and he's got some pit bulls. Got some little puppies as well at the moment. Yeah, all's good, Lucas. Everything's quietened down. There's no more trouble. Thank goodness. I've had to do a lot of changing settings, kicking people off and being quite firm. Well, that's nice, Fate. Absolutely brilliant. I know I was going to ask you, Fate. I don't know. Do they ever sell off old library books, that are a bit tatty and, well read, shall we say? Because I've got a library card, but I hate the fact that I'm only allowed to have a book for 3 weeks. Because at the moment I'm reading 2 books, one non-fiction, one fiction. So I like to read fantasy in bed and fact on the sofa. So my dreams don't get messed up with the government's being... That book, Tip of the Needle, wow, what an eye-opener. People got murdered all to keep, this connection between organophosphates and mad cow disease, or, I can't remember what the initials are for it, or the Latin. The mad cow's disease was caused by organophosphates. But, they're not going to... Okay. I can imagine you've got a very big library. Mine's growing to the point where I've got books in piles on the floor, Fate, because I've got nowhere to put them. Because, I love buying books and keeping them. All right, Lucas. Lovely to hear from you, my friend. Yeah. I mean, that's why I said wasn't allowed in my bedroom for a while. Exactly, Helena. That's kind of how I feel. There's all that energy around that is just disruptive and it's not very nice. I'm yet to get a photograph of Zed to put in a frame. I like fantasy, Helena, but I also love reading anything to do with, dogs, especially the vaccine issue, feeding issue. I like to know what the government's trying to hide from us, and they're certainly trying to hide an awful lot. But when I go to bed, which isn't often, Vate's more wide read than I am. I just like escapism before I go to sleep, Helena. So like books, magic, dragons, you know, all that sort of thing. Real total escapism. Nothing to do with what I do in a real day. I've got over 300 fantasy books, and I've read some of them over 12, 13 times. You know, I love them. Love my books. Reading a good book's like is like settling down and having a cup of coffee and a chat with an old friend. Isn't that right, Vate? It really is. Yep. I'm quite happy to look at anything. It's like the person I go with walking, he likes history on war, but I keep trying to tell him that history is written by the victors. It's not necessarily the truth, but he won't have that. What do you think, Vate, on that? Because you know history is written by the victors. It's not necessarily the truth. I'm sure you know that. I like facts, not. I like both sides of everything. Yeah, yeah. But he won't have it. He says that is it. That's right. And I'm like, you know, then things start getting a bit tense. Oh, I can tell you, Helena, the government hides an awful lot. I mean, the bottom line is it's like the pharmaceutical companies actually have more money than the government. And, you know, this is why we have a vaccination damage fund. Yet they say vaccines for humans do not cause damage. That in itself is a total hypocritical statement to make, because if vaccines didn't cause damage to human beings, never mind dogs, then why do we have a vaccination fund to pay out people that are damaged by vaccinations? They can't have it both ways, yet that's what governments do. They try to have it both ways. You know, I just like to have a very open mind, suck up as much knowledge as I can, and stay open-minded. I will look at both sides of it. You know, I think some people can be extreme, and I think you have to find a happy medium. That's all I'm really going to say on that. You know, I do puppy shots, but after that, no more. But it can take only one puppy shot to totally annihilate a dog's immune system. Yeah, I remember you saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we've got to remember back to when penicillin was invented. And, you know, it was discovered really by accident because of a moldy bit of orange. But, you know, the old film, the black and white film, The Magic Bullet, which is a film, not a documentary, a film on that, it's an amazing film. And, you know, antibiotics have their place in the world, but I think they are heavily overused. I mean, I'm on a prophylactic dose every day, so because I've got no immunity, so I have to have them. And this is my, you know, the person I go walking with is found one of his grandkids has got a cold. Now he hasn't got it yet. I have, and I'm like not very happy about it really, because you know with COPD, it's absolutely annihilating my chest. Absolutely, yep, absolutely. So much of science it is found by accident, and the thing with scientists is, you know, from what I've been reading recently, is they are so afraid of one, losing licenses, two, losing funding, to actually ever stand up and say, oh yeah, that's true, because they're worried about losing funding. So, you know, they get paid by big pharma, and, you know, to, you know, maybe open a practice, or, you know, give a loan to a vet or whatever to open a practice on the proviso that they don't ever speak out against them. Yeah, it is tough. It is, that is one of the reasons I don't go anywhere near people, Helena, because with no immunity, it is tough, but we get through it. I mean, bar taking Zed out, I have, and once a week having to go shopping. I don't have very much to do with interacting with people, not just because I can't stand all that energy, but I just don't want to be ill all the time. I've had cancer 3 times. I don't want it again. 1 lot of non-Hodgkin's, 2 lots of breast cancer. I just don't want it. And I had no treatment, Helena. I refused it. Just had painkillers, and it all went away on its own. Took 7 years for 1 lump to go, but it all went on its own. So I don't know what that says. Probably not a very aggressive form of cancer, I'd imagine. There's me sitting here smoking with COPD and a cold. Great advertisement for good health. Not. Not a miracle. I worked out. I mean, I only recently stopped exercising 90 minutes every day for 26 years after I quit gymnastics at the age of 26. I kept working out for 90 minutes every day. But after YY passed away, I had an internal bleed. So, I didn't ring the ambulance. I didn't do anything. Zed looked after me and I got over it. My doctor said to me, "You are aware, Laura, you could have bled to death." And I was like, yeah, but I didn't, did I? So, yeah, thank you, Vate. Yeah, absolutely determined. I've got a dog to look after. I ain't got time to die. It's just don't have the time for that. And I'm convinced, Vate, my pack of dogs took it all away from me because Zelly died of a 2-kilo mass of cancer. And I think she took my cancer away from me. I really do. Because I was very ill when I got her. I got her for my ex-husband. Yeah, I would eat organic if I could afford to, but I can't. So, but I do eat. I don't eat any processed food at all, except maybe my bit of cake and digestive biscuit. But that's it. The rest I cook myself. Oh, they're all trying. I'm pretty convinced that half the time the government are trying to kill us all, or not. It's almost like a bit like the Matrix. They want to dumb us down. They want to keep us quiet and placid. And I mean, we all know that sunset yellow, which is E something something something, is a carcinogenic. Yet it's in 2 of the tablets I take, and I'm thinking, it's a carcinogenic. Why are you still using it? The basic bottom line is they don't care. I hate to say it, but they don't care. And that's as true as with people as it is with dogs. They don't care. I mean, as long as the pharmaceutical industry are running the world, which they pretty much are, what can we do? Not a lot. But this is where I have such admiration for people like Catherine O'Driscoll, who has dedicated her life to, speaking to the world the truth. And when you speak truth, people say you're insane. You're like the woo-woo person, cuckoo. But the truth is the most important thing in the world. It's the most important thing in the world is the truth. Yep. I agree with that, Bate. Absolutely. You got to be so careful. I mean, it's like, have you noticed how many people are drinking these caffeine drinks? Like what they called Red Bull, stuff like that. Wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. They're addictive, aren't they? Why make them if they're addictive? There's so much going on. I mean, people say to me, "Laura, you're a bit paranoid," and I'm like, if you think that, that's fine, but I know I'm not. So I'm not a conspiracy. I'm not one of those conspiracy theories. What are they called? Conspiracists. Fate, can you give me the word? Conspiracy theorists. What are they called? This is where I need Fate to correct my English. what they called conspiracy theorists. That doesn't sound wrong. I don't see any conspiracies. All I see is the government trying the big denial tactic. You know, people have been murdered in this book too. Thank you, Helena. Yeah, in this book by Catherine O'Driscoll, which is her latest one out, the amount of people that got murdered to shut up this connection between organophosphates and mad cow disease, farmers, reporters, and everything got murdered to keep it quiet. And you know, it just shows you if the government are prepared to go to that length to keep something quiet, you've got to question everything else. You have to. I mean, it's like there was a flea spray that you could use around the house, and it actually was causing 5-year-old children, you know, we're going back into the 1990s now, at the age of 5 to get cancer and die. And it took till the late 1990s for it even to be looked at and then removed. So, you know, we can't trust, and our laws over here are far more stringent than they are over in America on what chemicals and that could be used. So, you know, it's a whole world, different world out there. Yeah, there you go, vape. Yeah. It's just a worry, and yet people, you know, vape will know this. Okay, Helena, you know, vape, that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than the public will ever know about. And I admire anybody that puts everything on the line to try and get the truth out there. I really do. It's been a really nice day, vape, to be honest. It really has. It's been lovely and relaxing. Yesterday afternoon, I had a lovely afternoon. I curled up on the settee with Zed, and we just slept in the sun, and it was just beautiful. It was just relaxing. She's so much happier. It's really nice. I feel better. Too much pressure, all of that was. So have you got any video and fake that you're going to put up? Okay, Vape. Love the way you put something has occurred. I'm on my own now. Is anybody else here still? Because it says 4 people watching, and Helena's letting a dog out. Vape's dealing with something that's occurred. Anybody else here? Dog problems, dog questions, anything? I'm not guaranteeing I can wave magic wands and solve things, because it doesn't work like that, but I can always try my best. Otherwise, I'll have to start singing, and everybody will go then. And my dog will probably tell me off. La-da-da, la-da-da. What should we sing, Zed? Oh, you've gone to sleep. Amazing the difference in my darling dog. Got 4 people in, and 2 people have gone out, so we've either been watched by 2 people. Yawn, I can imagine who. I believe in sunshine and singing in the rain. I believe in sunshine and singing in the rain. Anybody going to join in? I'll do requests on songs. No, I won't. Don't want to frighten anybody. Yeah, that's right. You can kick me in the back, Zed. I don't mind. By the Kennel Club. I was trained by the Kennel Club by 2 trainers that, if you look up the Panda Cup and the Koenig Cup, That's by Jerry Hoare. I was trained by Jerry Hoare, who was a shepherd and dog trainer, and also by a police handler. They were my two main dog trainers, that taught me as a kid. And then, they just move on. I was very much Jerry's favourite. He had a beautiful border collie called Panda, who's got a championship cup after the dog's name. And Koenig, the German Shepherd, also has the Koenig Cup. So, yeah, very, very good trainers. But I did use the Kennel Club because they're a non-profit organisation, whereas if you use like private trainers, you're not going to get the same, all-round thing. And you can do your bronze, silver and gold good citizenship awards if you want, though those didn't exist when I was doing club training. I've done a lot of study and everything else since then, and just carried on. And I found a lot of things in my own way. I do things a lot my own way. If I find a way that works, I mean, do I train all dogs the same way? No, because not one size fits all. You have to be prepared to open your mind to the individual dog that you're working with and find out psychologically where it's at and what it responds to and what it doesn't. I mean, I'm lucky Zed's very food motivated, so that's a good thing. But, toys can be just as good. I just remember, so, this dog Bella was so shut down, so shut down. She was 2-year-old German Shepherd, just shut down. I mean, and then to my horror, she told me that this 9-month-old, right, she had a two-year-old Shepherd that she couldn't look after. And then she takes on a 9-month-old, amazing working line German Shepherd that I could have done anything with. And she brought it to me saying, he barks. And I just looked at her and I said, it's German Shepherd. Of course it barks. She goes, yeah, but how do I stop it barking? I said, by being a leader, because your dogs are thinking they've got to protect you all the time and it's making them nervous. People just don't understand. Dogs don't want to have to be in charge. They want you to be in charge and not worry about things. They're just like, okay, she can deal with it. That's why I said don't bark at the door. She's like, she can deal with it and she'll let me know if I can't. I mean, when I had my pack, all I had to do was say girls, and they would be in a line behind me showing teeth. That was just one word, girls, and they would be there. I had no hassle when I had a pack. I'd love to get another dog, but I've got such a bond with Zed and with my health as well, and everything else, because obviously owning a dog is expensive. You've got the insurance. Feeding it raw is not expensive, but I'd love to get a Malinois or maybe a Collie Cross German Shepherd. There was some going in where I live, and I was so tempted because they look like kind of long-coated Malinois, with the black mask. And I was so tempted. I really was. But, it's not all about me, is it? It's about Zed as well. And, she likes having me all to her little self. And she's a wonderful dog. She does great. She's a great working dog, but very drivey. I mean, when I can get a camera, I'll be able to show what she's like on a field, because she looks like such a sweet, passive little thing in my videos, and she's so not. I mean, I put her on a weight and I walk like loads and loads of ages across the field, and then I just throw my arms open and I call her in and I'm going, yeah, bring it home, girl, bring it home. And she is running at me full pelt. And then I have to say front. And then she puts the brakes on and poof, straight in front of me. She's a good girl. She's a good girl now. But it did take a year of hard graft. I'm not joking. Really hard graft. All my other dogs that I've owned have been fully trained by the time they're 1, and Zed is still not fully trained. We'll get her there. I need a decoy is what I need. And I'm going to have to start looking for a decoy in this area because I want to train decoy. Because the only problem she's having with her protection and bite work is it's like if I tell her to, she turns around and barks at me because she isn't getting the idea that she needs to be looking elsewhere. I'm dying to find out what has occurred with Fate, because it's usually something quite interesting. You know, the thing is, dog training is the most wonderful thing in the world because you get this kind of mush-minded puppy and you get to shape it and help it become something that can function in society, that has a beautiful character and a beautiful temperament and a beautiful personality. I never break spirits and I never try and change personalities. You know, I wouldn't like someone trying to change my personality or break my spirit. So I don't do it with the dog. I think there's a lot of videos on YouTube that show perfection, that are highly edited. And I've always sworn I'll never edit my videos, and I won't. Because I think the mistakes are just as important to see. You know, I was thinking about doing like Skype sessions, but one, I'm not going to be feel the energy of the person, neither or the dog, and that makes it difficult. I mean, I can advise. What happened, Vate? I'm really curious. Any problems, Vate? I love the way you say, I have returned. I love the way you talk. No problems, I hope, Vate. Oh, dear, bless. Keep seeing that little crow that was stuck in my garden, Vate. But there's a lot of young crows around at the moment, so it might not be the same one, because there are a lot. But it seems to be less worried about me than everybody else, all the others rather. So I don't know. Yeah, they are very interesting. I think Susie was worried that crows were a harbinger of doom or something. Not a lot, Elena. They had to go and deal with something, and I was just waffling on, really, which is something I'm very good at, is waffling, apparently. But I don't mind. We were talking about crows. I had a crow in the back garden the other day. Yeah, and they're just being natural as nature designed them to be. You know, they do a lot of cleaning up, don't they? I mean, I was watching about 7 or 8 of them in my garden, and they were just picking all the grubs up off the dirt and that. And I would rather they do that than they stay there. I don't want Sadie eating them because she'll eat anything. Though that's much more under control now as well. Yeah, absolutely fine. As soon as I managed to get it under the side gate, because it was pouring with rain, Helena, so it got soaking wet. And this was during the night, and I couldn't see. You know, every time I put the light on, it frightened the crow. So I waited till dawn, and I had some like raw venison in my hand, and was like trying to sort of lure a crow, which I'm going to tell you now you can't do. But it got under the side gate, and then its little family came round and got it. It's just nature's. They just clean up. I mean, as soon as its little family found it, someone had some McDonald's, and it was, you know, all the rubbish was thrown outside my house, and they were going for that. Yeah, absolutely. Very misunderstood. I love all animals, Helena. I've raised a magpie. I you know, that was going to be killed by a cat. So, yeah, I love all animals. I just fall a bit short with humans because they're just another animal, but they have this superior thing that because we can speak, that means we are better than everything else. It doesn't, because every mammal, not overly keen on wasps, only because I worry about my dog getting stung. Same with bees. But if I can chase them out of the house, I'd rather chase them out. I don't like killing anything. So, I mean, I've got a couple of quite big spiders living in here at the moment, but I suppose they're cold. So, you know. As long as they don't get in my bed, I don't mind. So I was reading in bed one time and I thought, what's that on my knee? And I put my hand on my knee and picked it up, and like I had this huge, massive spider climbing up my leg. Oh no, that's bad. I mean, dear old Sally, she went to get the ball in the woods, and she actually came straight into contact with a wasp nest. And I've all my dogs are taught how to roll, and I said, Sally, roll, 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 and she rolled, and that got most of them off. But one of these wasps hung on close to her vulva and was just stinging her and stinging her and stinging her. Well, I expect hornets are pretty big things, aren't they? But it's not something we get a lot of over here. Horseflies are bad enough. Hornets, wow. But my poor Sally, it looked like she'd been through, rounds and rounds with Mike Tyson or something. She had lumps here, lumps there. So obviously, I rang the vet, took her to the vets, and he said, just put her on some Puritan for a couple of days. She'll be fine. I thought, okay, why did I bother coming? She was fine. I think as long as they don't have an allergic reaction. See, having a relationship with your dog is so important that when they have these things happen to them, they listen to what you're saying, because she was absolutely covered with them. I can believe that, Vate. They're huge, those hornet things. I love bats as well. I think bats are beautiful. I think they're the most amazing. During the summer when we go out at sort of 3-4 in the morning, I have a very high pitched whistle that I do myself, and the bats just come say hi and fly around me, and I feel honoured that they want to come and see me. It's lovely. But I think animals know when people are okay, and I mean, she knows that everyone here is okay. When we were having that problem, Zed was very, very distressed. She's not now. Got to learn to listen to my dog more. She knew. It's all right. It's almost like, she's been dancing around the house saying, told you so, told you so, told you so. There's nothing like being put in your place by a 2-year-old dog, but hey ho, I can live with it. Faye, do you have like anything to protect you with where you live, because you're kind of in the middle of nowhere? You know what I mean? You do know what I mean. Is it the Second Amendment over there? I don't know the amendments very well. Or is it the Fifth Amendment, the right to bear arms? I can't remember. But I just want to know, I mean, I know you're very capable of looking after yourself. I just wondered if okay, well, putting it bluntly, what is your thoughts on the gun laws over there? Good. That's good. Because strangely, Vate, I kind of get worried about you sometimes. Confessions of a Dog Trainer at 6:45 on a Sunday morning. Yeah, I know you're all clued up, but there's always those individuals that want to try, isn't there, Vate? That want to try, and it's like when I was, that other incident down the road I was telling you about. It's like they went said to try and frighten her. Well, that's not going to work, because I do exactly the same thing when I'm like teaching her protection work. So all that's going to do is put her into protection mode, and it could really backfire on someone badly. So good, Vate. Glad to hear that. You're not even allowed to carry a knife over here or anything. It's got really, really silly. Health and safety. It's just it's becoming so controlled over here, and I don't like that. I want to make my own decisions. I don't want to be told what I can do and what I can't do. It's like with dog training tools, they're banning all of that. Why? Because a few people use them incorrectly, and the purely positive think that they can cure the world by having non-compliant dogs put to sleep. I don't see how that helps dogs. I just don't. Just don't. I mean, Faye, it's not guns that people kill people, is it? It's the person holding the gun. You know what I'm saying? No tool is a bad tool. It's the person behind the tool. So it's like that silly trainer, Victoria Stilwell. If she can't mend the dog, she has it put to sleep. You know, people pay her to come in and help their dogs. And if she says this dog is untrainable or can't be fixed and needs to be put to sleep, but you give that to a same dog to a balanced trainer who's not afraid to say no and give it a correction, and it wouldn't need to be killed. So this is where I start having problems with the whole dog training thing. So there you go. That's just my opinion on that. Everybody's like anti, what people like to term shock collars. They're not shock collar. They were back in the 70s and 80s, but they're not now, and I don't think they should be banned. I really do not. I think people should need to be licensed to use them because they do need to be used correctly. I don't know. I think any tool that helps a dog gain its freedom off lead and helps it make better choices that don't involve itself getting killed, don't see a problem with it as long as it's used correctly. Especially with some of the big breeds, like Mastiffs and that, you've got to be able to control it. And, you don't need to be cruel. You've been jogging, Lucas. Well done, mate. Good on you. Oh. I can't believe you had a failure. Because really, you just need a walkie-talkie with a speaker on the dog's collar, and that would work. You can get a little tiny speaker and just attach it to the dog's collar. Vate makes many inventions, yeah. So if your dog was a distance away, can't imagine you failing at things, Vate. Oh, have you sorted out your casket? I do hope it's not catapulting you across the room anymore. That was amusing. That had me laughing all day, Vate. Even in the middle, I was doing some heel work, and it crossed my mind for a split second. And I started to laugh, and Zed looked at me with absolute horror, as though to say, "Are you laughing at me?" And I said, "No, I'm not laughing at you." Because Zed doesn't like being laughed at. Good. Yeah, that just made me laugh that day. I thought, poor Vate. I love your mind, Vate. I really do. It's just an incredible mind. How'd your jog go then, Lucas? You weren't very long, so you couldn't have gone very far. That's not very charitable, is it? But at least you went out for a jog. No, I won't either, actually. I will never forget it. It really did make me laugh. It tickled that weird, dark sense of humor I have. And I just had this whole comic strip in pictures of you going, wee, plonk. You know what I mean? Like the old medieval mangonels. Wah! Okay. See what I mean? Being followed. Wow. It's always people ready to jump on you and do damage. That's when you need to take your pit bulls with you. Especially the two males. Have one each. Yeah. And run with them. Nobody will follow you then. I mean, I walk around a woods at 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning here with no torch, no nothing, because I can see in the dark. And everybody says to me, you're mad, go up there. I said, what, am I supposed to be scared of foxes, badgers and bats then? Because there's nobody else up there. And if there was, I'd move them on anyway. I don't like people interfering in the woods with my wildlife. Well, it's not my wildlife, but I feel like I look after them up there. So... you should take your dogs with you, Lucas. You won't have a problem then. Very, very, very peaceful. Okay, Lucas, that's fine. Hope your friend's all right. And I was thinking of moving to Ireland. I think you just put me off totally there. The woods is peaceful. It's very small. It's a small woods, Helena, but it's very wild. And, you know, we get the owls and the buzzards during the day, and it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yet then we get the kids go hacking round, you know, on mini mopeds and all of that. And I just think it must frighten the animals something terrible. And then they set fire to stuff. And, you know, fire is the most fearful thing to an animal. Don't use the word stalkers, Vate. Apparently, I'm a stalker now. I've got my own stalker, Vate. Did you know that? Well, I don't go up there when the noisy kids are up there, my love, you know, because I end up falling out with them. And yes, it all goes downhill a bit from there. So I won't be spoken to like kids speak to people. And then I get, yeah. Good. I thought it would be a female. Good on you, Lucas, for making sure she's okay. Well done. A man that actually has some thoughts about caring for a female. Lovely. I don't know, Helena. I don't know. And it's like during the hot summer we've just had, we've lost so many hectares of heathland, and it's just horrendous. You know, you think of all the little creatures that lived on that on that heathland, and they're dead. Snakes, rabbits, all sorts. Their homes destroyed. Tell you something, Vate. Two texts. One sounded very much like that said person's stalker. And then I had one last night that sounded like said person. So, you know, just very poorly person. And I really hope she gets the help she needs. That's all I'm going to say on it. Yeah. Got to, is the female your lady friend, Lucas? By your concern, I would imagine. Or a family member, maybe. If you're going to go jogging, take those two male pit bulls out. Have one each. It'll speed up your jogging and exercise the dogs at the same time. That's a good time for harness if you're going to run with a dog. Lucas, are you in Northern Ireland or are you in Ayr? In proper Ireland, as I call it. No offence meant to anybody living in Northern Ireland, obviously. Because I was looking at moving into, you know, Ayr, proper sort of what people call Southern Ireland. But it's quite expensive. I was surprised at how expensive it is over there. Plus, my dog would have to have a rabies shot, and that's not happening. So that's the end of that then. Do you have rabies over there? I wouldn't have thought so. But you might have. I don't know. Faye, do you think everything's okay here? I've just got a little warning flag go off in my head. Yep, I've got the same. I've got the same. Got a little warning in my head. Okay, Lucas, thanks. I'll look into it. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream because it's like we've been on for an hour and 35 minutes, 36 minutes. It's been absolutely wonderful live chat. I'm going to leave this one up because there's been absolutely nothing here that I need to delete or remove. And it's been lovely talking to you all. Thank you very, very much. Okay. So stay well, Lucas. Stay safe. Julia, have a lovely day. Who else? Helena, have a lovely day. Everybody have a lovely day, please. And farewell, Mr. Vate. Let me see if I can get this right. Mr. Ozaki. Yeah, see. Am I saying that right? I hope so. Ozaki. It's probably not right. I always have a good day, as long as people leave me alone, one way or another. Bye. Thanks, guys. Lovely time chatting. Bye-bye.